not subscribed to our channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamat Astrology. Now today's video is going to be a very unique video in which we will explore the paranormal world. And in this video I will try to narrate certain of my own experiences as well as the experiences that have been mentioned in the scriptures. And in this video we will see whether Bhoot, Pret, Pishach, Asura, Rakshasa, all these negative entities, do they really exist? And can they influence us and our life in a negative way? In what circumstances will these energies come into our life? And what we can do to safeguard ourselves from such negative energies? Now, many people will say this is just a superstition, science is everything, there is nothing like this. If that is your belief, it is fine because you have not experienced certain things till now. But science is not a complete full stop. Science is evolving, science is also exploring certain things, trying to bring out certain realities. And honestly speaking, we have not even been able to explore our entire Milky Way galaxy. It is somehow still we believe that life exists only on Earth and there is no other form of life. But recent scientific studies, the NDs prove that even after death, life continues. It does not end, but it evolves in a different form. So if you are a skeptic and you feel this video is not worth watching, you can stop watching the video right here. But if you want to explore the paranormal, if you want to know a bit more, then you can continue viewing this video. If you are faint-hearted, please do not watch this video. Now, if you have watched my previous video, which describes NDs and draws similarities with what is mentioned in the Garud Puran, you will realize that when the soul exits the physical body, it first sees a tunnel, and towards the end of the tunnel, it sees a shining light and it is drawn towards that light. But in certain cases, what happens is the karma of the individual is so bad, or the moment of death is so tragic, that the ascension towards the light does not happen and they get trapped in lower realms. And these souls then become spirits. Now, spirits are of different kinds. The lowest level of the spirit is bhuta. The next higher level is preta. The next is Pishach. And then there are demonic creatures like Asuras and rakshasas. Now, when I say higher level, I am referring to the higher level of negativity. That is, a preta has more negativity than bhoot. Pishach has highest negativity level as compared to bhoot and pret. And then there are the demonic creatures, Asuras and rakshasas, who are highly negative, highly demonic. Now, when does a person become a ghost? If the person undergoes a very brutal murder, if the person dies of suicide by hanging from a tree or plunging himself into a well, if the person dies due to a horrific accident at a very young age, or if a woman is killed at a very young age, then there are many inherent desires left within that soul which are not yet fulfilled. And therefore, when the soul exits the body, it is in a confused state of mind. It is not able to ascend towards the light and it gets trapped in the lower realms. Now, bhutas are the lowest level of negative entities or negative spirits. Now, bhutas are souls who have some desire, some strong desire at the point of death, and so they are not able to ascend towards the light and they get trapped in a lower realm. But eventually, when their children or relatives do certain rituals such as tarpan or shraddh, then these entities are able to rise towards the light and slowly they get liberated or move towards the higher realms. So most of the ancestors or pitrus, they can be in the bhoot yoni for some time. For example, suppose at the point of death, a person had a strong desire to live in a big house. That desire was not fulfilled, and somehow it was lingering in his mind at the point of death. Then what happens is, since this desire is unfulfilled and it is a very strong desire, the person becomes a bhuta for some time. The minute he exits the physical body, he is given a subtle body, but he still has the same feelings of hunger, thirst, just like a normal human being. Imagine bhuta as a human being without a physical body, but having the same emotions such as feelings of pain, feelings of hunger and thirst. Usually, most bhutas will not cause any harm, but if the desire is slightly strong, the subsequent generations, that is, the children or the close relatives, may get certain subtle signs. For example, people falling ill in the family, or crows coming on the balcony window and continuously making a sound, which tells you that your ancestor is hungry, he needs food, he needs water. So once you do tarpan, once you do shraddh, that ancestor is pacified and then he ascends to the higher realms. So bhutas are mostly not very harmful. Now a typical example of this is with respect to Saint Tulsidas, who was a great devotee of Lord Ram. Now every morning Tulsidas used to do puja of Lord Ram, and he used to go out near a river and he used to water a banyan tree. This he did as a ritual for many days. And one fine day, suddenly a being appeared before him in front of the banyan tree and said, "I am very pleased with you." So Tulsidas could not understand who this being was. And Tulsidas said, "What have I done to please you?" So he said, "You used to water the banyan tree every day, and I am a spirit who was hungry and thirsty, and you have satisfied my thirst. So I am going to bless you. Ask me for anything." Tulsidas said, "Show me the path to realize Lord Ram." Now the Bhuta said, "I am not that evolved that I can tell you the path of liberation, but I will definitely tell you the means to attain Lord Ram." So he told that, "Go to one place where there is a satsang, where Ram Kirtans, Ram Bhajans are being done. And every day you will find a person who enters first and leaves the place last. You fall at his feet and seek his guidance." And Tulsidas did exactly that. And that person was none other than Lord Hanuman. And because of that, Tulsidas was able to write the Ram Charitmanas, which is an excellent scripture. Now, that was by the grace of Lord Hanuman. So, in this case, you can see the Bhoot didn't do any harm. On the contrary, because Tulsidas was giving water to the banyan tree, the Bhoot was pleased, its thirst was quenched, and it showed Tulsidas the path to realize Lord Ram, that is to approach Hanuman. Now I will narrate to you one experience in my life which happened some 30 years back. And that time we used to live in a flat, and in our neighborhood there was a very old lady and her husband. They had both retired and they were living with their son and daughter-in-law. Now the son and daughter-in-law didn't have any children, but they had another daughter who had two sons, and they used to come to visit this old couple very often. And I was friends with them. And some years down the line, the old woman died because of a kidney disease. And surprisingly, 2 days later, the old husband also died of a severe heart attack. Now, at that point in time, I was also very depressed because they were like my own grandparents, and their grandsons were my friends. So, we were all very depressed. But at that point, I was not involved in astrology, I was not involved in occult studies, and I had no inkling about all these things. Now, that night, when I slept, around 1:30 or 2, I woke up and I was feeling very thirsty. I went to my kitchen to drink a glass of water, and to my surprise, I saw two shining beings in front of me who exactly resembled the old man and the old woman who had died. And I could see their hands blessing me, and then they disappeared. Now I thought I was in sleep, maybe something has happened, but definitely I could feel a physical presence there. I could see the shining light, I could see their faces clearly, and I could also see them blessing me. Now, as the years passed, as I studied astrology, as I studied NDs, now I realized that the couple had just come to say a last goodbye to me. So, this was my first experience with something paranormal, something which people cannot see, but which I could see at that point. So, I just wanted to check whether the same thing happens the next day. So next day when I went to the kitchen at 2 o'clock, it did not happen. Even on the next day, it did not happen. But on the third day, again they came in my dreams, showed me the same blessings and disappeared. So definitely on that day, I learnt that there is something beyond death and life does not just end there. The next higher negative level of ghost is preta. Now, a preta refers to an angry ghost. When a person dies and at the moment of death, he has extreme anger within him, he has extreme resentment or hatred towards someone, he has strong feelings of revenge, then that soul becomes a preta. Now, this is a ghost which has to be feared, and this is a ghost which will generally target its own descendants. For example, its own children, its own very close relatives when it was in the physical body, because it has feelings of hatred, revenge, vengeance. Now, such pretas create obstacles in work, they create problems in the family, they create quarrels in the family. The generations will not have children, there will be fights within the family, people in the family will get lot of diseases. When you see these kind of symptoms happening more often in the family, it shows a pret bada. It shows an obstacle created by the preta. Now, removing pret bada is not an easy task. There are certain complicated rituals which have to be done by a good priest. But as an average individual, a person who chants the Gayatri Mantra daily, or a person who chants the Hanuman Chalisa daily, Pretas will not affect such a person. Hanuman is the deity who is closest to the earth plane. He is Chiranjeevi and his main job is to offer protection. Hanuman will remain on this earth till the name of Lord Ram is taken. And therefore, when you invoke Hanuman, Hanuman protects you. So chanting the Hanuman Chalisa daily will cause the Pret to move away from your house. Similarly, if you chant the Gayatri Mantra daily, then the Pret Bada will not affect you so much. Praying to Lord Shiva in the form of Kal Bhairav will also remove the Pret Bada. So these are more stronger negative energies. These are angry ghosts who want to cause harm to you because they have feelings of intense resentment, intense hatred at the point of their death. Now, certain times these souls may have died an unnatural death also. Now, let me move to the next more negative type of ghost, and that is called as Pishach. Pishach is a bloodthirsty mad ghost. It is the soul of a person which has died an unnatural death, a horrific accident, a horrific murder, a brutal death, or a very tragic death, or has died at a very young age where a lot of desires were unfulfilled. Then those souls become Pisachas. Now, Pisachas are generally found in the crematorium ground in places where there is absolute darkness and also in extremely filthy places. Now, there are different types of Pisachas. There are one Pisachas who reside in the forests. There are Jal Pisachas who reside in lakes deep inside forests. And then there are those Pishachs who reside in crematorium grounds, who resides in extremely filthy places. Now, in the horoscope, if there is a Mars-Ketu conjunction, generally it indicates a Pishach Bada if the conjunction does not receive the positive aspect of Jupiter or Venus. Now, usually night is the time when all the negative energies become active, because night is the time which shows an absence of light of the sun. And therefore, these entities are extremely active at night. And that is the reason why our ancestors used to tell us not to visit the beach during night time, not to sit below banyan or peepal trees during the night time, because these negative entities reside in such places and they try to influence you. That is, they try to impose their energy on you and create a negative feel in your life. Now, I will tell you one story which happened during Sai Baba's time. So, when Sai Baba used to live in Shirdi, there was a teacher called Shama Guruji who was a great devotee of Sai Baba. Now, Shama Guruji had a brother who used to live in a neighboring village, and to go to that village, they had to pass through a forest. Now, what happened is, Shama Guruji's brother's wife felt ill, and there was a popular belief at that time that giving Sai Baba's udi, that is, Sai Baba used to give ash, and if that ash was given to a person with water, the disease would go away. So, Shama Guruji wanted to give this udi to his brother's wife. So, he asked Sai Baba permission to go to the neighboring village. Sai Baba told him, go tomorrow morning, do not go today night. But Shama Guruji was very much worried what will happen. And so he decided to go in the night itself, and he had to pass through the forest between Shirdi and the neighboring village. Now, as he passed through the forest, he reached one desolated area where he heard a small boy of say 8 or 10 years sitting with his face in the opposite direction and crying loudly. So Shama Guruji thought, in the middle of this night, who is this boy who is crying so loudly? So he entered into the area where the boy was sitting. And to his surprise, the boy said, I am a Pishach. And he turned into a ghost and he said, I will eat you now. Now Shama Guruji was very scared. But Shama Guruji had great faith in Sai Baba. So what he did is, he lifted the mud which was fallen on the ground and took Sai Baba's name and threw it on the Pishach. Suddenly, the Pishach was surrounded by fire and it disappeared. So this was a typical example of one Pishach, that is a spirit which inhabits isolated places such as forests, crematorium grounds, filthy places where no one goes. And if by mistake you step into such territories, then they cause harm to you or they try to influence you in a negative way. Now, there are certain creatures which are even more powerful than Bhoot, Pret and Pishach, and they are the Rakshasas and the Asuras. But generally these two creatures, that is Rakshasas and Asuras, in today's time will not come down physically and harm you to that extent. For example, Ravan was a Rakshasa who ruled the kingdom of Lanka. And Ravan had certain demons below him who used to stop the rishis from doing yajnas, from doing sacrifices. So the goal of Rakshasas and Asuras is generally to disturb the spiritual practices of others. Now Rakshasas and Asuras are also highly spiritually evolved. That is, they do penance for thousands of years, get the boons from Brahma, Vishnu or Maheshwar, and then start causing destruction in the world to satiate their own ego. For example, Mahishasur was a very powerful demon who sought a boon from Brahma that he could not be killed by anyone, but there was a catch in the boon. He forgot to mention about woman, and therefore goddess Parvati had to incarnate in the form of Durga and kill Mahishasur. Similarly, Lord Ram had to incarnate from his primal form of Lord Vishnu and kill Ravan. So even Ravan was a highly evolved soul. He had done tapasya of Brahma and Shiva for thousands of years, and he had gone to the forest and got special boons from Brahma and Shiva. So their spiritual capacity is much more than any ordinary human being. They are extremely powerful. But in today's age, Rakshasas and Asuras will not incarnate directly and try to cause harms to human beings because we are not that evolved souls and they don't really view us as a threat. Now, having understood these kind of negative energies, what is the way to handle these energies if they come in your life? Now, the first thing is, daily morning and daily evening do some kind of sadhana. Worship your Kul Devta regularly or chant the Gayatri Mantra 108 times early in the morning. Then no spirit will affect you negatively. Chant the Hanuman Chalisa every evening. Hanuman will offer a lot of protection from such negative entities. The Hanuman Chalisa clearly says, Bhoot Pishach nikat nahi aave. So the Hanuman Chalisa clearly says that such entities do exist. But if the Hanuman Chalisa is chanted, then these entities will not come to harm you and Hanuman will offer the necessary protection. If you are a devotee of Shiva, worship Lord Shiva in the form of Bhairava. You can chant the Kal Bhairav Ashtakam, or you can also chant the Kal Bhairav Gayatri Mantra 108 times daily. And that will also give you relief from these negative spirits. Lastly, never forget your dead ancestors. Do tarpan, do shraddh for them, do the rituals, and if you cannot do that also, at least offer some kind of food to the crows on a regular basis, because crows represent your ancestors. Offer water to trees such as banyan tree, peepal tree, that will satiate your ancestors, and you will see that lot of these problems which are coming in the family life, such as constant quarrels, childless couple, divorce, all those problems, job problems, they will start getting resolved eventually. Avoid visiting places such as beaches at night or places where alcohol is consumed, there is gambling. Avoid all these places as much as possible, because this is where the negative entities reside. Also, do not visit crematoriums, cemeteries, unless there is really a reason to go there. For example, if someone in your family dies or a close relative dies, then definitely you have to go to these places. But otherwise, there is no real valid reason for you to go there just for fun. You might just go there for fun, but certain negative spirits can affect you badly. Lastly, do not sit below a peepal tree or a banyan tree, especially in the late night hours or the midnight time, because that is when these negative entities are most active and they find residence on these kind of trees. Also, do not go deep into forests, do not go close to water bodies during the night time, because that is when these entities are active. Lastly, meditate a lot. You can worship Hanuman, you can chant the Gayatri Mantra daily, you can worship your Kul Devta, you can also worship Lord Bhairav, Lord Narsimha. Whichever deity you choose, have full faith in that deity and worship that deity unconditionally. Surrender completely to him. And then these problems will not harm you. Lastly, it is not just enough to do sadhana daily. Keep your karma clean. Do not try to snatch away anybody's land forcefully. Do not try to cheat anyone. Do not try to steal the ornaments of deities. Do not make false promises to deities. So keep your karma clean, and then these negative energies cannot affect you. Once you keep your karma clean and also do sadhana parallelly. A weak moon in your chart, for example, a moon in the 8th house from the ascendant or in the sign of Scorpio, afflicted by Saturn or Ketu, can also cause such spirits to be attracted towards you. In that case, serve your mother very faithfully and worship Lord Shiva. Do Rudrabhishekam regularly if your moon is weak in the horoscope, if it is afflicted by Shani or Rahu or Ketu. That will give you a lot of protection from such negative energies. So friends, I hope you liked this video. To know more about us, visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. For any queries, email us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com and we'll be glad to assist you. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.